Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Shannon Scott with Grave Talks, coming to you yet again live, in a sense, from Louisville, Kentucky, in my journey here, namely to visit Cave Hill Cemetery. But neighboring Cave Hill Cemetery is a lovely, lovely, overgrown, abandoned 1840. I say abandoned, we'll get back to that, but 1840s cemetery called Eastern Cemetery, which also has the city's first crematorium there in the distance, which is now all bricked up, walled up, abandoned. You find it mentioned in weird books about weird Louisville. You can clearly see that it has some access from the urban explorers, but we'll leave it at that. May have also had a columbarium urn feature. They probably did like urn sales, would be my guess there, along with some sort of lobby office to sell you on the idea of cremation. I love the fact that volunteers are out here working their tail off to mow this place, albeit I'm a fan of this kind of wilder look, if just because this is how many cemeteries in America used to look on the regular. There was just this element to them with all of the natural plant life and natural flowers, and just had that appearance of a real garden in a way, but maybe not overall maintained. You can see a gentleman out there on his mower. This cemetery was abandoned in a sense through a cemetery scandal, which is in a way not uncommon. A lot of these cemeteries seem to go through this, but in this case it was extreme. There's 16,000 recorded burial sites, but there are 120,000 people on record here. And I should tell you that there was some sort of pauper grave situation here with a mass grave for paupers. And I don't know all the elements of that. This is just something I've found in my brief research. But in 1989, the owners were sort of caught triple burying, maybe even more. They were taking already known grave sites, like those around me basically, and they were reopening them and stacking bodies. And this is a part of that sort of dark comedy that a lot of cemeteries become, this idea of space for everybody, or trying to perform all the ritual stuff of burial. It becomes a sort of absurdity, I think, which is why I think cremation and natural burial cemeteries are becoming more and more common and popular and all that. But having said that, they went out of business or were legally run out. I'm not sure which of the two occurred. By the way, in the distance there's a wall. That is Cave Hill Cemetery, where we've been exploring. But this is Eastern Cemetery of the 1840s, so similar era. But in any case, a little note for those that might have a cemetery in their neighborhood that they want to invest in or help save, rescue. You can actually go to the county or a controlling body like a city and just agree to pay the insurance on the cemetery itself. And that's how you sort of get a hold or control of a cemetery. You can also work to whatever extent you can do that in your areas to turn these into parks legally. And that will also help save a cemetery. And then everything else has to happen, obviously, to keep it maintained or whatever. But, those are a couple of routes for people that want to do that. And there's obviously a volunteer system here of people that really want to make the Eastern Cemetery, tick again and be inviting and have tours and events and all that good stuff. So that's really cool. So good for the group in charge of that, and, just the good people of Louisville coming together, making that happen. That's neat. I like it overgrown, though. That's just my preference. I mean, you can't let it get too jungly, I get it, but there's just some appeal here about it. The graves being taken back to nature, taken back into their sort of, elemental state. I'm not sure what the phrase would be, but anyway, I like it a little overgrown. But it smells good after they mow. But yeah, if you're in Louisville, come check out Eastern Cemetery. Get involved, make a donation. But one of the Hatfields from the Hatfield-McCoy famous rivalry or scandal of Tennessee, other parts is buried here. Valentine Hatfield is buried here, which is kind of interesting. There's also a famous jazz musician. I don't think of his whole name, but it's Payne. I think that's P-A-Y-N-E. He's also buried here. But yeah, guys, this is just Shannon Scott. I'm doing my thing out of here for Grave Talks in Louisville, Kentucky, at Eastern Cemetery. Definitely worth checking out, especially when it's been raining a lot and it gets all grown up. Something special about that. But I hope you guys are doing good. Take care of yourselves, and we'll story you soon.